The following episode is explicit and is intended for mature audiences. Listener and viewer discretion is advised.
So hey everybody, it's Nathaniel Avila here, reporting from Dallas County, and I'm here with Ruby and a circle with an S in the middle representing Serenity, and we basically we're gonna talk about season 4 of Stranger Things that has, by the time of this recording, has not been released yet.
No.
And yeah, so basically, this is gonna be pretty much Ruby's show. For this one, she's going to be the lead proctor of this discussion. Uh, and
Yeah, so we are joined with, we're joined by, how do you say, by or with? We're joined today with Megan and Howard, who I know as Diego, and Juliana, who I know as Jules. And I'll tell you a little bit about them. So, Jules is my best friend from Georgia. And it's all thanks to, of course, Stranger Things. We love Stranger Things so much. She is also friends with the person who owns the Bobmobile. So we've gone to see the Bobmobile and sat in it, and actually, like, I think Diego even drove it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Diego owns like the biggest Stranger Things collector museum that you can think of. You can see behind him, he has all of the little knickknacks. But yeah, what are like we'll talk about that in a little bit here. But Megan is also a very huge Stranger Things fan, and she has a fan page that she runs. What's that fan page? The at
It's on Instagram. It's Mama Steve _Meg, and on TikTok for Mama Steve Meg.
Yeah, so she puts out a lot of content. We have a group, a Facebook group that was created by Diego, and we all kind of, met there. So thank you for that, Diego, because we've kind of been like family, since then, right?
Absolutely.
We're like, oh my God, like I'm just so happy to be able to share like how much we love Stranger Things, even like, you know, I felt kind of weird because I was like, I'm a 30-something-year-old fangirl, and I felt like I was the only one out there. But thanks to Diego and this group, we have found that we all have that in common,
yeah,
and we just love Stranger Things.
yeah. So before we, oh sorry,
Yeah, no, I was just gonna show my shirt off because
okay,
the Stranger Things Inn and Lounge is the name of our group, and I'm sure Diego would be willing to accept any other people who want to be, movie things fanatics like we do. Because
yeah,
there's a lot of cool stuff that happens. Diego like does giveaways and stuff. Like we literally receive random pieces of merch.
He's
You
very
know,
generous. Very.
It's so amazing. It's the best thing ever.
yeah. So
What
He's
were you
like
gonna say
Santa.
next?
He's like Santa Narwhal.
Yeah, Santa.
before we get started, I'm basically gonna hang back while Ruby takes the reins. I'm basically going to be like a silent audio engineer for this episode, so I'm going to make sure everything is going to be recorded and everything while I
Yeah,
hang back.
Nay doesn't watch Stranger Things like we do.
I still watch it.
For shame.
Sorry.
It's nice knowing you. Bye.
Yeah.
Watch the show.
I have seen it. I have watched it.
Yeah, he has watched it. He just doesn't watch it as religiously as we do.
Mhm.
Oh, no bueno. No bueno.
Yeah.
All right, so Ruby, take it away.
Yeah, I'll take it away. So yeah, we are gonna just dedicate this episode to talking about everything season 4. And like Nate said, this is before the season drops, so this is gonna come out before. So spoiler alert to anybody who's gonna watch this. I
Don't
have to say
listen
that
for
now.
years.
Which I don't think will have any actual spoilers because a lot of them are already out, but some people, have covered their eyes. So yeah, I get that. Also, it's just been so long awaited. We've literally waited 2 years for this, so it just felt right to dedicate an episode to it. Sometimes, we'll do our episodes where we have like a little bit of, I guess like some kind of like heavy stuff where it's like stuff happening around the world or whatever. But this episode is just gonna be nonstop fun, and we're just gonna have that, just fun. We're gonna talk about everything and anything Stranger Things season 4, because I do also see that it's important to having those mental breaks where you just talk about fun stuff. Okay, so we're gonna do that during this episode. So we can go ahead and start off with the 8 minutes that they freaking released today, this morning. I saw a glimpse of it on my computer because I get notifications on my computer, and I saw it says Stranger Things and it says first minutes or first 8 minutes, and I was like, what? Are they giving us the first 8 minutes of the episode? What is going on? So right away I go and look. What did you guys think?
I think there's a method to the madness. I think there's a reason why they released the first 8 minutes. I think because we need a week to mentally prepare for what is to come.
That's
at
so
least that's how
true.
I feel. Yeah. I'm terrified. I'm terrified. No, I'm terrified because that I wasn't prepared for.
Oh my god, I gotta watch it.
Yes.
You haven't watched it?
I was-
Hang on, we're gonna play it. Let me freaking play it.
Oh,
We
that'd
can
be
play
great.
it and watch it right now.
The best.
Please.
Yes. Please. It is.
Cause yeah. That was insane, right?
Intense. Oh my gosh, so intense.
I think they did that because for one, that answers the question of
What happened to the other
rest of
kids?
numbers. Yeah, where are
Yes.
the other numbers? Before 11. So the Duffers did this to answer that question.
Well, thank you, Duffer.
Okay.
And not gonna lie, I wish Papa had died with that big door. I'm just gonna say.
I thought this was insinuated, but apparently not.
I thought he got that door got him. He's out, but no.
What do you think, Megan?
Or poor Elle.
I have a. So initially, I was not mentally prepared, but going back and rewatching it again, I have a couple of thoughts. One, I'm surprised that we're seeing a sensitive side to Renner. He's very like when he hugged Ten, he brought him to his arms. He was very sad, seeing all the kids in that way. He's sad, so he does have a soft side for the kids, and maybe he's not all evil like we thought he would be. Maybe he's got a sensitive side because maybe he is. I'm being devil's advocate here. Maybe it's just about science, but he does care for the kids. But that's neither here nor there. But what I also noticed is, do you see how she's standing with her back turned in that stance that she has? If you go back to the Creel teaser with the Creel house and you see Mr. Creel standing where his, after the fact, and he's standing in that same position. So I'm curious is this something that has to do with with maybe the clock, maybe Vecna? I mean, is she having the same effect that maybe he's having that caused him to do that?
It definitely seems like it's something different because my original, of course, you watching Stranger Things and all of these seasons, you're like, oh, it's the Demogorgon, or it's something related to that. And so I'm like, but look at their wounds, they're not eaten or anything like that, how the Demogorgon normally does. The wounds look different. So I think it definitely is something way different, and it may be something along the lines of what you said, Megan, because I don't think 11 is the one who did anything. I think she actually was the only one who survived that whatever happened, and Brenner just saw her there, and so he automatically just assumed she did it. Yeah. What do you think, Diego?
I think that's a possibility, but the other thing that crossed my mind is there's at least some evidence that Callie is going to be back this season. She was on set early on, and I wonder if this was all an illusion.
Oh,
Yep.
shut your mouth, you wow.
That is possible. Did you see the crossword puzzle? Her name was in it.
Yeah, her name was in it, and
I didn't see
I
that.
think
No.
it goes back to something
Because
Meg said.
because we're thinking everyone's there, right? All the numbers are there.
It goes back
But
to something
she
Meg said
survived,
about
so-
Brenner's sensitive side. He's never had a sensitive side,
That is
and
true.
11 has never been vicious like that.
Yeah.
But
But I'm curious if she had to rein in her powers. I thought that what I was gonna see was that she was like a 2-year old throwing a tantrum, and that she just couldn't
Yeah.
control her powers yet, and so she just screamed, and then everybody died. Their head exploded or whatever. Like that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Like
well,
that's what she
and you would
like.
expect that
She was in
if
diapers, but
yeah, if he would have walked in and she just had this shocked look on her face, like she
right.
doesn't even know what she did, but she was just flat angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like, I just killed that thing.
Yeah.
What,
So
what
yeah.
I wondered is if this is something that's being done to try to coerce her to do something more for
Sure.
season 4, because if she believes she's done it before, it might be easier for her.
So
But
if
then,
she's having
then
the
again
illusion,
goes to the theory of the illusion that it could be Kali doing that because Kali's the one that helped her rein in all of her powers and her frustrations and her, all of that to use them to power,
This could all be
boost her
some kind of a
powers.
ploy to get her
So
powers
yeah,
back.
that's a really good theory. That's a good point.
Could be.
can we talk about and I'm gonna have to reread Suspicious Minds, but didn't they say in Suspicious Minds that all the numbers had died?
I did not read it.
I read most of it, but I don't remember that at all.
Remember,
I'll have to read it again.
Because that could support Diego's
But this
theory
is
about the
that this is an illusion.
right.
Wow.
yeah,
And
this
it's
helps us
definitely
explain why Kali wasn't there, and I think that, I mean, if this really happened, it would be because she already escaped, but it could also be because Kali is producing the illusion, so she can just have whoever she wants in there.
Yeah, that's true.
that is true.
It's
Um,
incredible. Wow, that yeah. And this is what this show. This is one of the things that is so incredible about the show. It could be so many different things. You can interpret it so many different
Right.
ways, and until you actually see, you just don't know. You can think of so many
Yeah.
things. Like for me, with season 3, I told you guys before, I was super bothered by the trailer in season 3 when I saw Max and Elle together, bebopping in the room and being girly. I'm like, what the heck is happening here?
Yeah.
Elle is not girly, and Max certainly is not girly. What is happening? But then when they went through the story and you saw how they became
Right.
friends and allies almost, and then she taught her how to be more independent and be herself and express herself, and I was like, okay, now this makes sense, because at first I was mad. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, what is happening here? They're eating ice cream and they're like friends and they're bebopping and the girls, and I don't like it. Something's wrong. So, but the story, but that's the thing, is that they give you these teasers to literally like blow your mind, because it could be
Yes.
anything until you actually see it. It's incredible. And
That
and
was
watching it
me.
over and over again, you see so many different things every single time. You see something new every single time.
Every
The
single
Duffers
time.
are incredible.
Okay.
They really are. I felt that same way when I saw Max levitating. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah.
Does she have powers? Is this a dream? Like, what
Or
is
someone
it?
picking her up. Is Elle behind her picking her
someone
up? Like, what is
picking her up.
happening? Yeah.
Can we circle back around to Diego's theory real quick? Because I have one question. So if it's Callie given the illusion, is she giving the illusion to Brenner, or is she? And then Brenner gets brainwashed. He kept telling 11 and kept telling Elle that, remember, you did this, you did all this, and maybe it's a guilt tactic to make her go through the experiments in the upcoming years, or
That's,
is Callie
Good
giving
point.
the illusion to Elle?
Good point.
that's a good
'Cause-
question,
yeah.
and I've been thinking about that, and it makes sense. I mean, both ways make a certain amount of sense. I think it could be either way. But I think that ultimately, I mean, just my opinion, of course, because I know nothing, is I think she's giving it to Elle as some sort of a coercion to help get her powers back, or she's already got them back, and then she's wanting her to use them.
Because Doc
because
Owen said,
we saw
your
in the
friend
trailer
won't
where,
survive if you don't
you know,
use your
I
powers.
mean, there were a couple of just split-second views of Elle where she's obviously in the present and she's obviously angry.
Yeah.
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 I think so too. And just to go back to, her getting her powers back, there was a spoiler in the Monopoly game that just came out, and the Duffers I just read an article earlier today or yesterday that they were upset about it because they didn't get to sign off on the
Ooh.
stuff that was put in the game. And so on one of the cards, for you to move like to the Monopoly to the next one, it says on there that Elle agrees to be taken back to a lab in the desert to get her powers. And I
Well,
read it,
that's
I
what I
was
was.
like, what? That's super a spoiler. Like,
Yeah.
Wow.
But
the whole time I'm thinking that they take her again. And
Yeah,
like,
I
she's
thought-
taking
yeah.
custody.
But if you look at the trailer, if they were to take her, she'd be more upset, but she's calm and collected about it. So I think she
Well, the other
knows.
thing is, Dr. Owens was talking to her. It's
Yeah.
like, we need you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think,
I think
that's
she
what
had no
Dr.
choice.
Owens was
She had to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still
So-
didn't know that she just like, agreed that way. Because like Meg said, she would have been more upset whenever they were taking her. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know what they told her. If they said they were gonna murder Mike or whatever, and she had to
Yeah.
go with it or something. I still felt like it was against her will. But no, it actually is her like being like, okay,
Well,
I
yeah, and I think, I
my
mean,
powers.
obviously she doesn't, it's not something she wants to do. So in that respect, yeah, she doesn't want to do it, but she knows that that's probably the only way that they're gonna win.
Yeah. Very
I
much
truly,
so.
I truly believe that episode 7, because they said that volume 1's gonna have 7 episodes. I truly believe that the ending of episode 7 is going to be her being, getting in the van and driving to wherever they're going to take her for whatever they need to do to get her powers back, and Mike standing there in the road watching her leave.
Maybe.
I think it's
That
gonna
was-
go
that was-
beyond that, and I'll tell you why, because episode 7 is the massacre at Hawkins Lab.
Ooh, that's
The
true.
massacre at Hawkins Lab. So it's gonna go back, you think?
So, yeah, I mean, I think that it's gonna
So then
have to
I can
reboot.
end what we saw. So maybe this is not the first 8 minutes. This is the last 8 minutes.
But is this like the guilt trip to get her to get in the van to go?
Maybe. Or maybe this is something that she's experiencing while she's there as a stimulator to get her powers back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We have so many theories, but again, we won't know until we watch it, and then we'll be like,
Oh my God.
Anything, the speculation is just amazing.
Yeah. I tried very hard not to read all of those Monopoly cards because I'm like, if I read all of these cards, I'm gonna freaking know like everything, and that's why the Duffers were really upset because they had hinted at some things in their trailers, of course, and they give us teasers and things like that.
Well,
But-
sure, but they want to control what they give out.
Well,
Exactly, and they've
know
always been about that.
that they're not about to give up anything too big, even with this first 8 minutes, as huge as it seems.
Mm-hmm.
I
They're-
think
yeah,
this
this
is
is nothing.
Part.
Yeah.
Compared to this, like imagine, okay, so like I'm so excited for the season because if
Well,
this
you remember
is nothing,
in the season 3 trailer, when you see when their machine blows up and you see all these Russians getting crispified, and we're thinking this is huge, and then the season starts and it happens in the first 2 minutes and it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And don't forget, season 3 had the 2 trailers. I call it like the light trailer, which was the first trailer with la la la, we're not kids anymore, and then the dark trailer where it was that eerie music, and Jonathan's going to get the axe, and they're setting everything up. And I really feel like, okay, so if this is good, if the trailer that was just released for season 4 is apparently the light trailer, think about if that's
that's
volume
stuff.
1, the volume 2. Think. What happened?
I'm just putting the
There you
countdown.
go. I'm sorry. But think about if that is the trailer for volume 1, the one that we saw a couple weeks ago. Imagine the trailer for volume 2 and how
Wow.
because
It's gonna be dark and deep and huge and yeah.
plus not only that, but remember in season 3 there were things that happened in season 3 that we did not expect to happen.
Oh, for sure.
Because they kept it a deep dark secret. I mean, and then you've got season 4. This is what the tip of the iceberg, and now I guarantee you, there's gonna be something hit in this season that they've been hush hush about. That we're all just gonna sit there on the couch or wherever we're gonna watch it and just heart dropping into stomach feeling of.
Well, this also means they can cliffhanger us twice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Good point.
It's so true. But you know what? I'm sorry. I love the Duffers. I love them, and I know this was not their fault. I mean, this is COVID, and it's just the way that things happen, and whatever it is. We deserve something big and huge. Like we deserve that. We have been loyal fans and waiting for them, and they've had the time to make it big and edit and do all the things they need to do in order to impress us again. Bring us like we never left them, but just to make it so exciting, like that first season. I mean, it was just that. I tell people, I'm like, if you've never seen it, I mean, like for me, I guess I've told you that guys before that for me, it's like the nostalgia of the '80s. It was me. I was on my bike with my friends. I was out doing things, the music, the clothes. I had a trapper keeper. I mean, these are the things that, like I just said, that was my car and that was my car. I mean, these were the things that I did. So for me, it's that. I think for kids, it was always the fact that it's kids. Like those are the main characters as kids. So it drew them in. But I feel like any age can be drawn into this, and not just if you're a sci-fi person, because I can't say I was a sci-fi person before this, but I was a huge Stephen King fan, and I saw the writing, and the second I saw it, I knew that was Stephen King writing. I knew it. So as soon as I saw it, I mean, they captured me from the very beginning, and I just was like, oh, I didn't even have Netflix. I watched it on a computer, and as soon as it was over, I was like, kids, we're getting Netflix for Christmas, because
Right.
We're keeping you alive, Netflix. Stranger Things is keeping you alive.
That's right. We're plugged for Netflix.
Of the 80s music, how excited are you to
But
get
the
this
way
soundtrack?
they use it, not just the 80s music, the way they use it, because the Duffers do nothing by chance.
Nope.
Nothing they do, every minute detail that they have is there on purpose. It's there for you to go, oh my gosh. Because Diego, was it you that said something about, I'm sure all of you noticed it, I did not notice it, the mask. The mask in her room.
Yep.
That she wore, the baby face mask or whatever that she
Right.
wore when she was with Kali's group. I didn't see it.
Little
But you guys
memento.
did, but
Yeah.
I know Diego with his million screens, he saw it, but I didn't see it. But I also, I have to see it over and over. Like I said, every time you see it, you see something new, and you're like, oh, well, that makes sense. They did this and this one, and that makes sense. What that led up to this, and why, so it's really incredible. It's just an incredible show. It really is. So.
No, they really do a great job at that. Like just in the trailer, people are already kind of gathering that they're gonna be in Susie's room, just by looking at the background on one of the stills, from the trailer. They see the background, her little.
There is a scene that was in
radio
Susie's
thing.
room.
Yeah,
Yep. And
definitely.
and the hat. That
And
warmed my heart.
Yes, I know. Kristen's hat in there.
If we're
So,
talking,
so I almost had to revoke my card. I'm just going to say, sorry, Megan, don't mean to interrupt you. I almost had to revoke my card because I didn't know that was Eddie in the trailer. I thought it was Joyce. I'm not going to lie. So I saw it right there and I was like, dang, Joyce had a rough day. I don't know what's
Did you
happening
see
here.
it's
Joyce
okay.
walking around like his
Joyce
arms
is
were
now
like
over the Dungeons and Dragons club.
I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening here? But yeah, it was Rebecca, our dear Rebecca. I wish she was here, but Rebecca doesn't want any spoilers whatsoever. But I wish that she was here. And so I wish that she was here to talk about it. But she's the one that she was like, dude, that's Eddie. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. Just revoke my card. I'm so sorry. But but I have.
It's like Amy didn't recognize Nancy. She was like, who is that? And I was like, that's Nancy. And she's like, her hair is different. I'm like, not really, but okay.
They're so much older. It's just crazy to see, but it's crazy.
I admit, someone had to revoke my card because when those posters came out, and it was Karen, and I looked at it, I'm like,
oh, same.
who is this?
Same.
And then Devery, who has the TikTok, and she cosplays Joyce, she goes, that's Karen. And I was like, no. But
Which is interesting.
yes,
Very interesting.
yes. But
The look
Karen,
is different.
yep, but Karen's got her own poster.
Right. So that means she's finally gonna find out what the kids have been up to all these years.
I mean, people that have never seen the show, they always say that to me. They're like, "Where are the parents? What all this is happening? Why is no one paying attention?" I'm like, "Listen, this is how it was in the 80s. It really was like that.
Yep.
Like, you were out until the street lights came
Gosh,
back on, and
if
then you
you
came
came
home.
early, you better be hurt.
Yeah, your mom legit didn't want you in the house. Like, my mom would, like, throw some hot dogs at us, some water, and just go keep riding your bike with your friends, But yeah, because that's how it was. So we were up to all kinds of shenanigans, and we didn't have walkie talkies. We just were like that. You were gone, like, and your parents didn't see you, and that's how it was. So I just think that's very, very authentic. And I know, like, in the second season, they had to put that disclaimer on Netflix about the smoking and the whatever, because people were really upset about this. And I'm like, it was the 80s. It was legit. Everybody was smoking.
It was legit like that.
Yeah, it was. Walk through that trail of smoke. I mean, that's just how it was. So, I think it's all of those things are just so accurate. And the shows that they watch on TV, the new Coke, things like that, all the things that they do, that they bring out all those little nuances that make all the difference, because they do their research, and they do,
The
they do
election
the work.
year. The
So I'm
election
excited
year.
how she's gonna
Right.
find out. I'm excited how Karen is gonna be involved this season, because that's exciting. Because she's always kind of like, she is at the center of these things a lot of times, and she just like doesn't.
She doesn't know it. She doesn't know it exactly.
So I'm really like excited to see that. I'm really excited to see how the boys get back into D&D. Because at the end of season 3, they make it seem like they're not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
They're giving away their stuff to Erica, and Will is giving away his things too, or whatever. And so
But that
and they
could
all
be
have
where
this thing
Susie's
about
involved,
growing
too.
up.
But that
Right.
could be where Susie's involved, because Susie probably didn't give her stuff away, so she probably has all that stuff, and she could probably help them and whatever.
Yeah.
So
Somehow.
I'm interested to see what they do with
Yeah.
Erica too. I didn't care for Erica in season 3. I'm not at the beginning. At the end, yes. But at the beginning, I didn't like her character. At the beginning, I was like, she's just a brat. Like, she's just a brat, and I know she was anyway. I'm still amazed and floored by her, by Priya, because literally they said she had one line. She was only supposed to say nerd. That's it. Then she ad-libbed everything else that she did, and they liked her, and they brought her back, and they did whatever. And I'm like, kudos to you, girlfriend.
She was like, "You want an annoying little sister?"
She's like, I will give you
got
an annoying sister. Yeah. And I'm glad that they gave
And
her.
that was actually
a
what she
role in
told
3.
me when I met her, was that she practiced on her little sister.
Oh, poor little sister.
That's perfect.
I'm sorry, but that whole when they're in the elevator and she's like, just so you were aware, I'm supposed to be at this birthday party, and that was like the best. Like,
no, I liked her towards the end, but like in the beginning when she and Lucas were like fighting at the mall, and they're like, she's like, could you just be dead already, or whatever. It was like,
Yeah, honestly,
like
I was surprised that they went that far with that dialogue, but I'm like, that's how authentic the Duffers want to be, because brothers and sisters literally do talk to each other like that.
They do.
It's bad and it's sad, but they do.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I'm like really excited to see how the boys get like back into D&D, but I think it's all because when they start high school, they find out that there are still like high schoolers playing D&D, and then they meet Eddie dude, and Eddie's like, the senior and the king shit of D&D, or
And
whatever.
does not look like a D&D person at all. So that's a little bit.
And
He's
then
like a rocker,
plus
like
Mike
Yeah.
all of a sudden doesn't have 11 to distract him.
Right.
True.
That's true. So he falls back on his D&D ways.
True.
I don't know. I've got a little uneasy feeling about when they show, they're at Lucas's basketball game, and Mike just looks miserable, and then the still of them walking on under the breezeway, and it looks like they're having some sort of like argument. I really think that maybe like, yeah, Mike and Dustin, they're like, oh yeah, D&D, but Lucas is like, no, I'm gonna go play basketball, and I guarantee you, why? He'll be a bench warmer, and he's gonna be like, well, this is not what I expected it to be.
Yeah, I think from what I've seen and I've heard, they and just based off of what Lucas said, because Lucas almost gave away too much during his Q&A interview on the TikTok live, but he was basically saying that he tries a different route. You know, he tries to be the jock and the popular kid, but focuses on the word and like the emphasis of the word try.
Yep.
That's what that's what he said it. And I think ultimately he will,
which
like
is a high school thing. Yeah, that's a high school thing. People like drift apart and they get into different groups and clubs, and you're not always going to be, doing the same thing. That doesn't mean you don't come back to each other. But and I think that
there's always the shared trauma.
Yeah, well, and I think that the part, for sure, high school, but I think that the party broke up, like, because we thought that would never happen, and here the party's broken up, and I think they're all kind of floundering, finding their way, because my poor 11, oh my gosh, you're shunning my girl. But yeah, so I hate that she tries to be like, oh, hi and nice and whatever, and they're just not, because she has no idea how to be this person, and without the support of her people, it's just really hard to navigate your way, to find out who you are. She literally just found out who she was, and now she's got to do it on her own. I mean, Will's there, but,
which I get. She said Will's there.
But
I'm guessing that has to do with her new wardrobe, because what the hell?
Well, like, she's used to cabin wear. Like, look where like Hopper was like plaid and t-shirts.
Well, yeah, but she went to the mall and she went to the Gap and she started her new style. That was fine, but now she like went,
backwards.
Backwards.
I don't even know what to say. Yeah.
I'm interested to see why that happened, because there has to be an explanation for that dress. Like,
I want to say maybe it makes her feel closer to Hopper, because remember, she thinks that Hopper's dead. Maybe that she wants to honor him and she wants to feel close to him, so she embraces him.
She also dresses a lot like Joyce does.
That's true.
Yeah.
By the way, can we talk about what they stated in these articles about Joyce's new job?
Where? I didn't see any articles.
She is, she's working from home.
Yep, selling encyclopedias.
Selling encyclopedias over the phone.
Oh, interesting.
Which, if Dr. Owens gave them okay, well, here's some money, I'm gonna place you in another town, but don't worry, you'll be financially stable, but you need a job to, keep appearances. You could sell encyclopedias.
Well, and I'm interested to know, because I don't know where the time frame is like now. I'm a little bit confused about where we are. I know, sorry, revoke my card again. But is Erica now going to be like in high school or still in middle school? She's middle school, right? Middle school.
I think she's still middle school.
I want to know if she's going to be, if Mr. Clark is going to make an appearance again, and she's going to be part of the AV club. That's what I want to know.
I wrote Clamdy Havens on Instagram, and I was like, I'm going to be so heartbroken if there's no Mr. Clark in season 4.
And I heard that Collie's group was going to be there, and I haven't reached out to my girl, and I really should reach out to her and ask her, Gabby Maiden, I really should reach out to her and ask her if she, she's not going to tell me, but, if I can get some kind of information. But because I'd heard that they were going to be back, Collie's group was going to be back.
And they were photographed on the set.
Yeah,
okay.
They were literally like at the video store, right?
Yeah, that was like over 2 years ago. That was back really early in the filming.
Yeah. But they really never said anything else. So, but it's like, some things happen, and then it's like you don't know if that's always going to be in it. Because sometimes you see that, like pictures and things, and then you're like, wait, I didn't see that in the movie at all. So it's like, where is that? So I'm just curious, and how that's going to come about. Like, is Collie's Holbrook going to come back with her, to help out? Like, I don't know. So
I don't know. That would be kind of weird, because they are like a bunch of criminals. I mean, I like them, but they doing what they do, and like how they're gonna fit that in with, I don't know.
But it's also it would be also interesting to find out, because when she leaves them, Collie learns a lot from her. I mean, I know a lot of people are back and forth on that episode. Some people like it, some people don't. I think it was great. I like it. I think that it was very important and necessary. I think that Elle needed that, but I think just as much Collie needed that too. Collie needed to understand that that's not the only way to go about this, looking for families and looking for that closeness and that things that that she's never really had, and Elle has that, and these are things that she covets and she wants. So I'm curious to know, because you don't know what happens to her later. So I'm curious to know if when she left and decided, she chose her family, like her friends, over this sister of hers who did a lot for her, and I'm grateful for what she did, but she was very manipulative about the way that she did it. So she did help her harness her powers, but she went back. So I'm curious to know if maybe she does turn a new leaf. Like maybe they're not that group anymore. So maybe there is a reason for
I
them.
feel like that would be the only way that it would work is if they decided, hey, we want to come help out, or even not all of them, but like maybe what's her name, Gabby, her
Gabby,
character,
yeah.
another one, because I don't think we saw all of them, did we?
No, there was,
No.
I believe it was Holly and Nick and Axel.
Yeah,
Axel.
so maybe
Mhm.
they stuck, with Collie, and they were like, okay, fine, we'll try something different, or we want to be better too. So,
Yeah.
I think that definitely could be, the reason why. I mean, like, that's the only reason how it would work in my mind, but I mean, I'm sure the Duffers,
You never know.
Well, so let's say that they did come back, and it's not all of them. Maybe their group broke up, just like they go different ways, just like the party went different ways. Because it doesn't matter how old you are, groups grow apart, whether you're young or old. I mean, maybe they had some life lessons to learn too.
But not only that, I mean, they were, like you said, they were criminals. They were doing crimes. What if they died? Like, what if the other people, they died, and then these people changed their ways because of that fact? Because Axel was given, this not like the powers, like he knows what he can do. So he, at firsthand, he knows what she can do. Dottie, was that her name, the one with the fly swatter? Dottie,
Yeah.
little, all over the place. So who knows? I would love to see Sunshine again. I thought he was so great. I really liked that character, and I thought he was because he looks like this giant scary dude, and he's such a teddy bear. Just like you said, he was so great. So I mean, how sweet he was. I really would love to see him again. That'd be great. But who knows? Like you said, they're criminals, and they could have been caught, and maybe those 3 escaped, and the other 2 didn't. I mean, who knows? There's so many different scenarios.
I'm interested to see where Nancy's gonna be working at. Like, obviously, I think she's working for like a news, like a big media outlet or something. I hope.
Well, didn't her mom say to go to like, what was it, Washington? No, what did she tell her to go? Washington or something?
No, I think she told her to finish the story and like to send it to like all these other newspapers,
Bigger.
like big newspapers. And I'm just gonna do like a time check here quick.
Megan,
I know we have 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I know,
Megan
Megan is
her
like,
brain is exploding right now.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the editor of the Hawkins Post die?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if there's a new editor, and let's say it's female, she can still work at Hawkins Post, or if it's a male and he's gonna give her a chance, like.
Oh, very true. Very true.
Yeah, he did. He died. Well, I'm assuming he died because they said that everybody that was in the mind flayer that was a piece of died.
Yeah, I was assuming he ended up turning into rat soup and becoming part of Meatwad.
God, that was so ugly.
Yeah,
it was so ugly.
This is gonna be scarier. Like this season, like Finn on his TikTok interview. Oh my God. On his TikTok interview, he's like, there are gonna be some episodes where you may not like want to go to the next one. He said that, and I was like, oh my God, this like makes me so excited. I'm excited for the music, like we were talking about earlier. The soundtrack, like I cannot wait to hear the soundtrack.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And how they place those, songs, those legendary 80s songs.
Absolutely. The way they did it in the trailer with that song, I mean, Journey, come on, everyone who doesn't love Journey anyways. But my God, the way that it builds and it gets to, I mean, there is nothing like that. It was just, the first part, like I said, incredible. I have to tell you, Ruby, that Alicia, when I showed her the trailer and stuff, and she saw, okay, revoke my card again. Is it Vecna? What is the name?
Vecna.
Okay, that one. She saw him. She was like, "That's hot." I was like, "Oh my lord!" She's like, she superheroes are hot. She's like, that's hot. I was like, oh Lord.
Yeah, we're gonna have Vecna, and then the demo bats.
Yeah.
That are like
the demo bats.
yeah, like minions of Vecna, I guess. And I have
that's
a theory.
creepy already in and of itself.
Right.
And that's like, you know.
I had a theory, and Rebecca had the same theory, that Vecna is some way, somehow related to Billy.
Well, he was spotted at the premiere.
That's what I said.
He was spotted at the premiere?
Yeah, Juliana made a comment in the chat that he was spotted at the premiere. Is that right?
I did not know that.
I don't know.
I think he did, yeah.
And the only reason why is because of the way, like, Vecna has those things, like, coming out of him, and that's kind of like the same way that Billy got killed, with those, the mind flayer.
Played, like,
And they did say that it is somehow still connected to the Upside Down, right? I mean, because there has to be, there's like this whole clock.
We're gonna end.
I know we're gonna end, but this whole clock thing now that we have that's happening, where I think they're gonna mess with time, obviously, and somehow Hopper's gonna get brought back from Russia, because we saw that he is in.
All right, well, that's the end of that. Well, thank you guys very much for joining in with us today. I've been Nathaniel Avila, Ruby Rodriguez, Serenity Robledo, and all our guests. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you for listening to a Vision podcast, home of Wacky Talkies, The Kingdom, Evil Exists, and many more.